Tashle and welcome back to Rinsang vlog. So this is another educational and information vlog where I will be talking about CBT computer based test, which is the second exam which you will be writing before you come to UK for becoming a UKRN. So in the previous video we have dealt about IELTS or the OET examination, which is the English language test which you will be writing, and the first and the most important step for becoming a UKRN. If you haven't watched that video, make sure to watch it in this time. And yes, do not forget to like, share, comment and subscribe to my channel. So in this video we'll be talking about second exam, which will be related to nursing. So CBT is computer based test where it's purely based on nursing, where they will assess your knowledge, comprehension and application in the field of the nursing. So I'll be splitting this video in 3 sections. So first I'm going to give overview about the CBT examination, and secondly I will talk about a little bit of my experience when I was preparing for the CBT and writing the CBT examination, and thirdly I'm going to talk about some things you need to remember on the day of examination. So yes, let's begin and do not waste our time. Yes, firstly, talking about some overview about CBT computer based test. Those 120 multiple choice questions you have to finish in 4 hours of time. There won't be any negative marking and the result is purely pass or fail. There won't be any percentage shown when you get the result of the CBT examination. 50 questions will be related to the generic nursing competency and 50 questions will be related to the application of those generic nursing competencies in the specific field of nursing. So when I say specific field of nursing, so there are mainly 4 field of nursing. Either it can be adult nursing, child health nursing, learning disability nursing and mental health nursing. So most of the time we'll be applying through the adult nursing. So yes, so those are the 100 questions, and then another 20 questions which is going to be critical questions which you need to score at least 90% of those critical questions. So those are the 120 questions. So that is the mostly like an exam pattern of it. So on those 120 questions there are domains where the questions can come from. So first one is the professional value, which account for 27% of the examination, and then secondly is the communication and interpersonal skills, which account for 10%, and thirdly is the nursing practice and decision making, which account for 33%, and fourthly is the leadership, management and teamwork, which account for 13%, 13%. And then last but not the least, there are some unique questions based on the specific nursing competencies which account for like at least 17%. So those are the total percentage they have categorized on the base of 120 questions. We all are applying for the adult nursing, so you need to score at least 68% of this examination, but you need to remember that you need to score at least 90% of those 20 critical questions, because even though you have scored 100 questions already of those, you have scored all 100 questions but you haven't scored some of the critical questions, but you will be failed. But if you will be passing like all the 20 critical questions, but you can, if you were not able to attempt some of the questions in the 100 questions, you will definitely pass. So but they haven't mentioned those 20 critical questions, so that is quite tricky. And then I will be talking more detail in the next section regarding those 20 critical questions. So yes, so this is the overview of the CBT exam. Secondly, I want to share my experience and tips regarding attempting this CBT examination. First of all, do not take this exam lightly and make sure to you attempt in one go, and if you can make it in one go, so this is the best thing you can do. You don't need to waste another amount of money, and then it saves your time, because after writing the second attempt you have to wait for another some more period of time for writing the third attempt. So it's always best to crack it in a one go and prepare yourself best and put yourself 100% on that exam as well. And then secondly, what I would say that when preparing for this exam, make sure to practice lots of mock tests, and there are plenty of mock tests. When I was preparing, I practiced more than 1000 practice questions in the mock test which is available. So it's always good to practice lots of questions and familiarize yourself with those questions. And the most important thing is to practice the drug calculation. But the drug calculation are not that difficult, but if I can make it, you can also definitely make it. The good thing about that is that you will be given a calculator to solve those drug calculations. So it's good to have the calculator. So it's a good thing that you will be getting a calculator for attempting those drug calculations. And fourthly, what I would say is that when I was preparing, I just enrolled into like a Facebook group of CBT, so where people from different part of the world, those who are nurses, they all interact with each other regarding CBT, and they will be like discussing lots of aspects of the field of the CBT and field of the nursing, where it can be possible, and practice lots of like a sample questions. So it is always good to interact and involved in this kind of group when you are preparing for the CBT examination. And next one, it really helped me, is the Royal Marsden. So I still have that book with me. Actually, I did have the soft copy, so I have done the hard copy because it's always good to have like the paper with me. I am always more comfortable with the papers rather than the computer, so I have to like literally copy everything. And while I was preparing for the CBT, I referred to this book because Royal Marsden is based on the UK practice, so it is always good to learn and make short notes. So I always like to make notes out of it so that you don't have to read it again and again, because once we read it, we won't retain in our mind. So it's always better to make them short notes. And when we make short notes, what it helps, we can review that short notes rather than going to this book again and again. It's quite heavy though. So yes, so this book really helped me because this has so many informations related to the UK practice, and then you can always go through this book. So it's always good to have it. I don't know whether I have the soft copy. If I do, so I will love to share with you guys. Last but not the least, I want to talk about those 20 critical questions. The thing is that they haven't mentioned the critical questions, but drug calculations are considered critical questions, so you have to like practice lots of drug calculation, as I said before. And then the next one is about the questions related to the medication administrations are very critical, and then questions related to the resuscitation, questions related to the safeguarding, including the neglect, abuse, all these are very critical, and questions related to the professional code of conduct and code of ethics, all these are very important and critical questions. So make sure to give some more importance to those critical questions and learn and give more focus when you were learning and preparing for CBT. Give some more time on those questions and practice more. So the more you practice, the more you familiarize yourself with those questions, it will be easier for you to come to an end with a colorful result. So yes, so this is the second section. Last but not the least, I want to talk some things you need to remember on the day of examination. So the most important thing you need to remember, that you need to always eat before you go for the exam, so your mind works better when you have some kind of energy left in your brain, so to process for this examination, because you have to sit for like at least for 4 hours of your time. So it's always good to eat yourself, wake up early in the morning on that day of examination and get yourself prepared and ready. And secondly, don't be late on the day of exam. At least make sure to be at least like half an hour early before the start of the exam. If you will be late on the day of exam, your day will be messed up and you will be thinking about that, you will be rushing and you will be more panicked, because on the day of exam everybody gets that kind of panic, and everybody have that kind of like nervousness when you will be going for any kind of examination. So it's always to get yourself prepared and be early on time, and then yes, that really helps. And when you will be writing this examination, make sure to keep yourself warm, because I usually feel very cold while going for any kind of examination because of the air condition. So it's always good to stay warm and wear something warm, so that your mind will not be focused on feeling cold rather than writing this examination. But every individual is different, so I don't know what you have, but I just wanted to share with you guys. And then fourthly, make sure to read those instructions very carefully. Before the start of the examination, you will be given the instruction on the computer. So actually this is a computer based examination, so there will be any kind of technical issue. But if you face any kind of technical issue, make sure to raise your hand and yes, approach the examiner in an appropriate way rather than talking to the other people. To solve that problem as soon as possible, make sure to read the instruction very carefully, because that instruction is very important to read it for going for a further of your 4 hours of time. So I would say that those 120 questions attempting in a 4 hours is really I don't think so that you will have a lack of time for attempting those 120 questions, because 120 questions can be attempted in like 1 hour 30 minutes. When I was attempting the CBT, I nearly finished in an hour and 30 minutes, but you have to review those questions again and again before you finish that examination. So when you will be, before you start the examination, you will be given a demo questions, so you can familiarize yourself before the start of the actual exam. So make use of that questions and try to familiarize, because like once you attempt the first questions and go to the next and save and next, because make sure to save the questions whatever answer you have attempted, because if you don't do it, you will lose everything. And when you reach the 120th question, before you submit that question, and make sure to review those questions again and again, especially the drug calculations. Even though you feel that it's correct, sometimes we make mistake and the answer will be wrong, so you can review it once, twice, thrice, because I did 3 times before submitting that questions, 120 questions. Unless and until you are confident about those 120 questions, do not submit those 120 questions. And you have plenty of time. I'm sure that you will get plenty of time for attempting those 120 questions. And think about those drug calculations are very critical, so make use of time. You will be given a calculator and a rough notebook where you can scribble down of your answers and everything. So everything will be given instruction. Make sure to bring all things which you need for the day of examination, like passport and everything. So some things they will be sending you a letter before the day of examination, what all things you need to bring. So everything will be given instruction, so make use of that instruction and read it carefully. Wherever there is an instruction, read it carefully, because we don't read the instruction carefully and we end up making mistake. And do not be overconfident in attempting those questions. You have to be confident, but do not be overconfident, because sometimes overconfident makes our answers or any kind of scenario worse. So yes, if you're attempting the CBT examination, I wish you all very best of luck for your upcoming exam. And if you have any more questions related to CBT, make sure to contact me, and do not hesitate to contact me at any point of time, and I'll be more than happy to guide you. But there are going to be some changes coming in CBT from this month of August, I guess, because NMC was planning to make some changes from month of April, the next month, but because of the pandemic issue and all, they're going to postpone that to August. But hopefully, I don't know whether they're going to make the changes, because they're going to split the CBT into 2 sections, part A and part B. Part A will be numeric and part B will be more like a comprehension type. So yes, better to write your exam now if you have already created your IELTS or the OET examination. So this is the best time you can write it before they change. So yes, this is the end of today's video. So in the next video, I'll be talking about NMC to the visa processing. I'll be talking about more in detail about those processing and paperwork and everything. So stay tuned for the next video, and make sure to subscribe to my channel, and do not forget to hit the bell icon for more updates. So thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for the next video, and best of luck those who are going to write this CBT examination, and I hope you will be able to get in the first go. And yes, that's it. Thank you very much.